This video is proudly supported by RM Risk Management, providing a comprehensive range of services tailored to UK property managers. Visit rmriskmanagement.co.uk to ensure a secure tomorrow. Hello, welcome back to the Blues Focus podcast with me, Tommy Kelsall, and Sam Sheppy. Good evening, mate. How are you?
Yes, very good. Good win, wasn't it? As I said to you just before we went live, I thought it was going to be one of those days where it didn't quite happen for us after that first minute goal from that long throw-in, but then we turned it around, showed some really good character, some really good passing moves as well, and a crucial win to keep us top of the league.
Coming from a goal behind, conceding in the first 30 seconds of the game. Very typical Blues thing to do, really, considering that we needed to get off to a good start. Yeah, it was eventually turned out to be a blip in the road, really, but not the best start that we needed. But let's talk a bit more about the game and everything. Were you confident going into the game?
I was pretty confident. I mean, Lincoln are a good side, aren't they? I said in my preview, the fact they've carried on the form from last season, 4th place in the league, good coach as well. I knew it was going to be a tough game, but I was confident enough in our ability to score goals and kind of carve them open. It was always that thing in the back of my mind. Again, I said it in the preview that I'm just worried about set pieces for us because it seems to be a real weakness for us, because as much as we are good on the ball and going forward and that, it's the kind of the basics really in terms of, picking up your men in set pieces and kind of being out-battled a little bit. And again, that sluggish start, because it seems to be a recurring theme, doesn't it, that we concede quite early on in these games as well.
Yeah.
And once the teams have something to hold on to, it makes it a lot harder. But I guess not really in this instance. And it was just good to see, wasn't it, that we followed the game plan, stuck to our plan that we had beforehand. And yeah, I think in years gone by, we would have lost that game, especially when it got to the point as we get on to when it was 2-1 and we conceded a penalty. And also brilliant again, saving another penalty this season.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little bit worrying those first 10 minutes because we started to resort back to type at times, trying to do long diagonal passes, and really when we got on the ball after those first shaky 10 minutes, we started to look really in control again and they started to flag. But yeah, the goal was, I can't even remember off the top of my head how it came about. Obviously, it was a long throw, but it must have just fell to the player who just stuck it in the back of the net. He took it really well. Also, couldn't really catch sight of it. We struggled with the starts to the game. We struggled with set pieces. Conceded from a long throw as well against Charlton. So if we cut those out, I think we're starting to look real, untouchable, really, because those are the only things that I can see are causing us issues at the moment, because we keep the ball well, we can score goals. Keshi Anderson scored twice today, a player that I've criticised many times before for not getting off enough shots. Scores twice today, pretty much first touch shots, really. It's really nice to see, and if you just cut some of those little errors out, I think we can be really comfortable in games. And we've shown that in other games, like against Rotherham, where we've just been on top all game. But it was one of those today where it could have gone the other way had that penalty gone in. But yeah, let's talk about the equaliser, because it was very well took. What do you make to it then, Sam?
Yeah, good goal, wasn't it? It's one of those ones where Keshi Anderson, we were saying about him, weren't we? And the fact that I said in my own videos that I didn't know whether he's going to be like the caliber of player that we're going to need moving forward. But obviously he's been given the new contract, hasn't he? And I watched his interview, and he's someone that speaks really well about, the direction that the club's going in. And he's definitely the kind of character that you want in a dressing room, someone that's definitely pushing the standards and kind of okay in terms of the competition, the fact that he knows that other people may step into his position if he puts a foot wrong. And it's people like that, determined, you never really question his work rate. And it was, a good move, wasn't it? The fact that Alfie May laid it off to Anderson, and Alfie May in that number 9 position, it's just such a weird thing, isn't it? The fact that we've got Stansfield now, someone that's very good in that position. And Alfie May didn't do much wrong in the number 9 position before Stansfield came in, but all of a sudden now we've got this dilemma, haven't we?
I mean, Stansfield was injured coming in to today's game, so he was off the team sheet. So was Christian Bielik, who took a knock up against Charlton in the last game. So I was interested to see how the lineup would be, but I was happy with the way that Chris Davies had put the team out. I would have perhaps maybe have started Yokoyama, but his impact from the bench was probably just as good as anybody else's. But yeah, well taken goal. Like I said, I've criticised him for not taking off shots earlier. And taking on more as well. So, great spin, great turn, great goal, really. And it's exactly what we needed, because it was right after the point where we started to look like we were coming into the game as well, because those first 10 minutes, they were really shaky. Couldn't keep hold of the ball, trying long passes, which just isn't us. We haven't done it all season. And we panicked against Charlton, and it seemed like there was sort of shades of that in the first 10 minutes. But we shook that off with that goal, and we really needed that. And we looked in control after that. We had a few chances, we made some nice link-up play. We got Hansen on the ball down that left-hand side, who had a chance where he pulled it back for Anderson, but it just sort of scrambled up. But the patient build-up play was quite nice to see. You know, we're waiting for the opening. You know, we're just hacking it forward and just panicking. You know, and then you know when we are in and around the box, we're pulling it to the right players and everything. But just a couple of chances. You know, I think Alfie May would have felt a bit disappointed in himself not to get a goal today because he had a chance in the first half, and even though it took a deflection and went out for a corner. You know, I think the way he took it, I think he probably would have looked. You know, I think he might look back on that and think I might have just needed to take a little bit more of care with the shot because he takes it, just sort of slashes at it really, which I think with the touch to make it a corner might give it a little bit of well, maybe he hadn't got a touch, it might have gone in or might have headed towards goal. I think though we just kept the tempo up from that point onwards. I don't know about you, but like anything that was as soon as our ball, anything that fell to us, it was immediately back out wide to try and get it going again. You know, we're switching the play, going across the pitch all the time. I remember at one point as well, like their keeper had just sort of launched it forward, just trying to get like some pressure off them for a bit, and it went all the way through to Allsop, and Allsop just picked it up straight back out again. You know, just keeping that tempo, keeping the momentum going, which I think eventually just wore down Lincoln, didn't it?
And that's kind of what I alluded to earlier, isn't it? Like just sticking to the game plan, because it would have been easy to maybe change it with the way that the Charlton game went. The fact that, you know, we didn't create many chances in that game, albeit dominating possession. But I feel the difference between this game and the Charlton game was, you said it earlier about Anderson, you know, shooting first time and not really thinking too much about it. And that's the thing. Like these players have really just got to believe in their own qualities in front of goal when they do get in those positions, just pulling the trigger and really testing out the goalkeeper. Because today we had 4 shots on target, scored 3 of them, and then their defender made a brilliant block off the line for the last one. So yeah, it's just getting in them positions and not thinking twice about it, trusting your own ability and just go for goal.
Speaking on players like Alfie May as well, I feel like his total involvement in the game is always there as well. You know, he's saying about Anderson being like a proper tough grafter and everything, but Alfie May in particular, I remember he put the ball through for Anderson and he was offside, so he put his hands up and just sort of stopped. But then he got onto his own pass and forced the keeper to try and make an error, and he did. So I just feel like that sort of pressure and that momentum really, it's going to tell through those type of games, you know, because the fitness and everything as well, and when that momentum keeps going and all that pressure, it breaks teams eventually, and that's what we did to Lincoln today. More of a better spell towards the end of that half. A weird half, really, considering that, you know, we'd gone a goal down within the first minute, and then to, you know, be the more dominant side, really. I thought Paik did really well again today. I thought he was really calm, really collected on the ball. I thought Alfie May, again, really good, you know, pressing everything, doing really well. I saw a little bit of a Water, probably not one of his best games, although I don't know, he did play really well to be as well. I thought Cochrane was fantastic with his crossing ability as well. He was probably a bit unfortunate not to get an assist really with some of those balls, but really, really quality again. I'm a big fan of his as well. And also Williamson as well, just stayed on the ball for times today, you know, didn't lose it, you know, just kept hold of it, tried to make sure that he got the right pass away, didn't make sure that, you know, no silly mistakes really. I can't really pick up on one of the mistakes he done today.
Because like touching on a couple of players you've mentioned already, like with Paik, obviously he did give away that penalty, didn't he, where he just pulled the guy back, and it was a little bit clumsy. As soon as it happened, like me and my dad just said penalty, like we thought straight away that was going to happen.
I hated the fact that the ref took forever on it as well. It's like, oh, we know.
Yeah, because there was a little bit of you that thought he was going to get away with it, but yeah, it wasn't meant to be. And with Iwata, I think I don't know, like I've been so impressed with him so far, but today he looked a little bit off the pace. I don't know if it's a thing where he's like kind of a victim of his own standards because he's been so good. But I think today there was a couple of decisions that he made, possibly looking a bit leggy. I don't know if it's anything to do with that knock he got against Shrewsbury where he came off. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But yeah, I mean, the good thing is about our team, if one of them does look leggy or is picking up like an injury or something, got like Mark Leonard who we can bring in there, who's a phenomenal player to bring on in that kind of situation. And you saw when he came on the pitch 3-1, so close to scoring at the end, wasn't he? If it weren't for that miraculous header.
I know, it's making me smile. He's getting Jordan James minutes at the moment with the amount of quality players that we got in, like Iwata and Paik and everything. But yeah, second half, got off to a perfect start. Second half, Williamson putting us in front. It was a beautiful ball over the top from Clara, picked out Alfie May, just little cushion pass back to Williamson. Took a little bit of time, make sure he composed himself, got that shot away, left-footed, far bottom corner, really well-worked goal.
Yeah, Williamson's someone that's just impressing me more and more each week. I think the more he's growing into the team, the more he's growing into the setup, learning the system. Yeah, he just looks like a class act, doesn't he? Because he can battle it out with some of those physical centre halves that we were going to be told about in League One, the ones that, you know, we're going to ruffle us up or whatever. But Williamson looks like he's up for the challenge, doesn't he? Someone that can compete in the air, but also very good technically on the ball. And you saw that with
Definitely,
his
yeah.
long-range strike that he scored with. So yeah, really impressed with him so far, and another good goal for him.
I quite like his casual approach sometimes as well. Like there was a couple of times today when he had the ball with him, and he just sort of like really casually just laid the ball off at one point. It was a bit too casual at one point. I remember him trying to put Laird through, but I think that's his sort of standard of play. You know, he likes to play in around a nice, easy pace and everything. It shows that he's a good quality player, in my opinion, as well. And that's why he gives me like Dougarou vibes as well, because he's just got that laid back, cool look to him. I really like him. I think he's up there with one of the players of the season so far. And one thing that we did forget to mention actually was the shot in the first half from Alfie May.
Oh,
The
cracked
little
that one, didn't
1-2.
he?
Honestly,
Yeah,
had that have
yeah.
hit the back of the net, that was goal of the season by an absolute country mile,
Really
that is.
unlucky, wasn't it? Like as it was sailing through the air, I was thinking it's going to go in, but then just off target. But
Yeah, because of the
would have
way
been,
that
as
the
you said,
camera
very
was.
good.
Yeah, because of the way the camera was and the lighting from, like, where the sun was hitting the stand and everything, I was like, "Has that gone in or whatever?" I couldn't even actually tell because the ball was, like, just like a little white speck and it just disappeared. But, yeah,
Mm,
so unfortunate that was. But I feel like that just proves that his effort throughout the whole, game was just, like, up there. He's so unlucky not to get a goal, he was just I in and about all over the game today. But shortly after the goal, Hansen went down with an injury. Yokoyama came in for him, who was a proper impact, to be honest. I think, just
very good.
again, like I'm saying, like his agility and his quickness on the ball can really tell. And also set up the third goal as well. Ethan Laird also made an appearance, first game since late August. Played well as well for when he came on. Won plenty of challenges, getting stuck in and everything. But I do think though, like in between that point where we conceded the penalty and sort of the goal, we started to drop off a little bit. We had a little bit of a spell afterwards where we were controlling the ball, but then that left hand side seemed to be getting like overrun a bit. Cochrane was getting worked out, getting really worked hard down that left hand side. I think he just needed a little bit more help down that left hand side, whether that could have been from Yokoyama or whoever in the midfield. So, like maybe some like Paker or Iwata needed to help him out a little bit. But that's where that penalty was conceded. Obviously, Pate takes him down. And obviously, as we said, it was just a definite penalty. We were all just waiting for the referee to give it. But referees are just, I think they're cautious to give things so quickly nowadays, just in case, they can give themselves time to think, which of course you made the right decision in the end. But just built the anticipation a little bit. But the penalty itself, I thought he was going to score. I thought this is just going to be the way it goes. It's going to be one of those days where we've been in control for the majority of the game. Just a couple of slip ups have made us look a little bit vulnerable at times. But I thought when that penalty, when the referee makes it awards a penalty, I thought he's going to score, And then to see Allsop dive to his right, I thought he surely can't make another save. It's like, and he does. It's fantastic. I don't know how you reacted to it.
Yeah, it's brilliant because obviously he'd save one against Charlton and then Raul Jimenez scored one against him, didn't he, for Fulham?
Hmm.
And that one that Jimenez scored, he just rolled it across the floor. And this one from Rico Hackett was very casual, wasn't it? Because
Yeah.
it wasn't traveling at a lot of pace, but you've got to give so much credit to Allsop because,
Mm.
I mean, penalties, they're really not hard to save. Like, I mean, they are hard to save, sorry.
Yeah.
And really good reaction, wasn't it, from Allsop? And you see it at the end of the game where all the players were crowded around him, sort of signaling to the fans, and then he done the cheers, didn't he, towards the away end? And someone being a Blues fan as well and having the career that he's had, he's played for a lot of teams in his 30s now, and fantastic to see him doing well in the team. And I don't think we would have picked up the 3 points if it weren't for that penalty save.
It would have been a different game, 100%. Yeah, I think like
100%.
it gave us that bit of momentum to kick on and make sure that we won the game. But yeah, just to save it again though, I was like, I'm sure he's going to score this time, but guessed the right way. Good save as well. It's difficult to, getting down to the save to make the save. It's difficult enough, but actually to make sure that the save and parry it away properly so that the rebound don't go in as well. And good clear on the rebound as well from all the players huddled in around the box. I just think that it gave us the confidence to make sure that we went on to go and get it, to go and get the win. And what a great goal to score as well down that right hand side with Yokoyama. I thought Williamson's pass, it shows the idea that he's got, doesn't it? It
oozes class, that.
It probably wasn't the best execution, really, in terms of the way that he did lay the ball off, but the idea itself, you've just got to applaud him for that. He's just got so much talent about him, and he's got the ideas to try those things, and it worked. I thought at one point it was just a little bit too short. I thought that Anderson was going to get closed down, but again, like what I've said about him before in terms of like not taking shots on, like I think like had that have been like an Anderson maybe last season, I think that he might have tried to take a touch or something. I'd have been sat in the stands just going fucking shoot, but he did, and like as soon as he hit it, it was goal. I could see it. The perfect technique as well, just past the keeper's hand, 3-1. And really from there on out, we were in control. There was a couple of nervy moments, really, but getting back to winning ways is fantastic. And as you say, at the full-time whistle was great to see everybody celebrating around Allsop. I saw Allsop had done Allsop was celebrating with Davis and everything, doing the cheers, like you say. I think Clara did it as well. I think what the commentary team said, from what I could hear. But yeah, bouncing back to winning ways. Just that we need to get like a couple of things sorted, in terms of like, we need to really, I think we're starting to show that we're getting more comfortable at the back. There's a couple of moments really where we look a little bit nervy, but that's starting to get there. I think like just the set pieces and early the starts of the game as well. We've got to get that nailed on because it's causing us problems, isn't it?
Yeah, because I think we're far from the finished article, but I'd say around like 75%. We're 3/4 there. I think the performance, the way that we're controlling the ball is fantastic. As I said earlier, it's just the basics really that we've got to knuckle down on, haven't we? If we eliminate that from the game, then I think we're going to be truly unstoppable in this league. And it's one of them things where, we've got Bolton next coming up. They're on a decent run of form at the moment, but I back us to win. And it's going into games now with confidence, isn't it? It's just so refreshing to, hear you talk about the fact that we score all these goals and create these chances and that. And it's still something I can't really get over, the fact that we are doing so well in this league and we're still far away from what I think is the finished article.
It's all going in the right direction, isn't it? So I think that's really what we can pick up from today, even though it was a little bit of a shaky one at times. I've got a really itchy nose. I'm sorry for people who are watching.
Right.
My brother's been ill, so I'm wondering if he's passing it on to me, actually.
My brother's been ill as well.
Oh, God.
So,
fucking brothers, what they're like, eh?
Yeah,
Although your brother's older than you, isn't he?
No, he's younger.
Is he? Is he?
He's taller than me. He's bigger than me, but he's younger.
I see. See, that's why my brother's still a little bit shorter than me, so I thought he was older. But yeah.
No, Josh is 21, so still, younger.
Yeah. Bloody younger brothers, eh? Give us a man of a match for you today, then.
As much as I said I don't think we would have won the game without the Allsop penalty, I can't sort of distract myself from the Anderson performance because he's someone that surprised me this season. Because if I'm being honest, he was one of those players that's still here from that relegation season, and you kind of look at him a bit differently than the players that come in the summer, because the players that come in the summer, they're coming in with this momentum and with the new manager and everything, whereas like the older players, we've seen them last season under the numerous managers and underperforming, definitely. But Anderson's one of those players that's definitely understood Chris Davies' style of football, understands what he wants, and has been rewarded with his contract extension. And yeah, a fantastic performance, clinical, like what we said about taking our chances. And we always said about Anderson, the work rate being so good, but if he can really make his chances count, he can be a top quality player for us. And I'm so happy to see him thrive. And yeah, 2 goals in this game and 3 points.
I know Jamie Lawler will be happy with that Keshi Anderson performance. He's a big fan of his. Yeah, can't argue with that. I think you've got to be spot on with that. I don't know, actually. I think I would be willing to give it to Alfie May with 2 assists. I thought his work rate was fantastic. I always forget how quick he is as well. When he was chasing the keeper down from that loose pass, I thought he's just rapid, isn't he? Like the keeper's making like a short run, but he's ran half of the length of the pitch to chase down the keeper. Williamson as well, I thought, just with him being like his same classy self, really. Lovely goal, really well taken. I think when we watched that back, we just realised how much of a nice finish that is, really. Just to take a little bit of time, find the bottom corner. You can see he's looking for that bottom corner. It's not accidental. He's perfectly picked that out. And I think like with other players as well, I think like Clara made a fantastic performance as well. All stopped with the save. I don't know how to say it. We probably made a bit of a meal of it at times today. We probably could have had a bit of an easier game had we have taken the first 5 minutes. We just make sure that we shut up shop and everything. The penalty save would have just been a blip in the road, really. But I think it was like the way we started the game and we weren't quite in control. And we looked a little bit panicky. It's probably why we think that it might not be the best performance. But I thought we played really well, considering that Lincoln are pretty much, they're 4th now, aren't they? With oh no, they have dropped a fair bit, actually. They were 3rd when they took the lead, but they sit outside the playoffs now, obviously, with teams around them as well.
Because Lincoln, I'll just add a little note on them. I think they're going to be in and around the top 6 this season. I think they're an impressive outfit. Michael Scubara is their manager. He's a good young coach, isn't he? The fact that he's took this team from where they were, last season, followed on from that, real momentum, and they've got a decent way of playing football and a lot of younger players in their team as well that I imagine will go on to do better things in their careers. So yeah, shout out to Lincoln for, I guess, putting on a good game against us and really competitive performance as well.
Yeah, giving us a tough ride at times today as well. Thought that at one point that it was going to be one of those days, but we've managed to pull it around. So, making it tough for us definitely. But yeah, that's a quick match reaction. We're going to be trying out more short form content over the next few weeks. It's sort of just other issues have just been getting in the way of constant uploading at the moment. So we'll be sure to get back to that. We have got the final of the Football Content Awards coming up at the end of November that we'll be working towards. But yeah, Sam, you've got your next match preview with a Bolton channel. Do you know who you're doing it with yet?
No, not quite sure yet. Obviously, Bolton, one of those teams that was favourites, weren't they, for
Mhm.
the League One title, but kind of had a little bit of a slow start. So yeah, interesting to hear what those guys have to say ahead of
Mhm.
the game against us.
Yeah, Bolton sit 11th in the table, 5 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses. They play today.
Burton, they did. I think they won 2-1.
Yeah, they won 2-1 against
Mm.
Burton, yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they're all about, and everything. So, yeah, be sure to stay around for more content coming from the channel very soon. We will be going to that game. We're also unfortunately not going to the Mansfield game as well, just because of the away allocations, really. It's just we've been like gold members and everything. It is difficult to get tickets this season, so we're just gonna try and get to as many games as possible and bring as much content as possible, really. But, Sam, thank you very much for joining me.
Yeah, nice to chat to you after another 3 points. It's becoming a bit of a familiar feeling now, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Long may it continue. Thank you guys for listening and keep right on.
Keep right on.